Hello, thanks for joining me again today. Spend some time thinking about feeling disconnected. This week, to carry on with the theme, I thought that we would maybe do a little bit of journaling, a little bit more reflection. So I've been sitting here with my journal today, thinking about the times we feel completely disconnected from our lives. And I was thinking that there are really four main ways that it can show up. The first one, I think, is physically. So have a think about whether this happens to you sometimes. When you're feeling disconnected, it's like your head isn't really in the game. You know, you might become clumsy, you're maybe dropping things, but it's just as though your mind isn't really fully inhabiting your limbs, you know, so your body isn't really inhabited. You know, your physical senses get muted. So, for example, you know, you're not really aware of the taste of food. You're not really experiencing touch, or you're just not aware of it. So, for example, you know, you might get to the end of the day and you think, oh my goodness, you know, I'm thirsty, I need a wee, I'm exhausted, I'm tense. And you hadn't really even been aware of any of those things during the day because you're not fully inhabiting or listening to your body. So, or living in your body, you know. So that's how I think that disconnection can show up physically. And then thinking about emotionally, so disconnection, I think, emotional disconnection doesn't feel like a specific emotion like sadness or anger. It feels more like a kind of blanket of nothingness. So you might look at loved ones, or you know, hobbies, things that you normally really enjoy, and you feel this kind of sense of indifference, which is a bit kind of confusing or off-putting, because normally you do care and you are invested. And I suppose the thing is, you do care, you do still care, but your emotional battery is at zero. So you might find yourself smiling and nodding and, you know, joining in conversations, but internally you're feeling kind of hollow, like you're an actor playing a part. Okay, another way I think that disconnection can show up is mentally. And this is like classic brain fog. So your focus is just scattered. And also you might lose hours just, I don't know, scrolling on the phone. Not because you're really interested in the content, but because you're sort of on autopilot. Maybe you're kind of seeking connection, but you can't find it. So you're looking for things, but you're not really connecting with them, and things feel a bit meaningless to you. You might read the same book on a page 3 times. You walk into a room, you forget why you're there, your thoughts are sluggish, you know. It kind of feels like maybe you're wading through deep water mentally. And spiritually, I think here it's more where you feel that sense of meaninglessness or feeling untethered. So, you know, the rituals, the nature walks, the creative practices that might usually help you to feel aligned, I suddenly just feel really pointless and kind of empty. And you might feel a real sense of loneliness. So not because there aren't people around you, but there's just a feeling of lack of connection. Lack of connection to your own intuition, to your own purpose, the flow of your life. So I think these are the four main ways that disconnection can sort of feel in your life. And, it might, if you're feeling that you are disconnected, then it might be helpful to have a think about how it's showing up for you in each of these areas. And if it is showing up, then, don't worry, because disconnection isn't a failure. It's actually a really good defense mechanism. And it's telling you something. And that might be that when the world's too loud, or it's too fast, or it's too demanding, your nervous system is pulling back to protect you from burning out. Okay, so in week 1 of this month, we were looking at underlying causes a little bit, what might cause disconnection. Might be worth revisiting that to help you think, if you're journaling on this theme, to think about, well, what's going on in your life that might be leading you here, and then how is it showing up? But we need to find our way back to balance, so these different aspects of ourselves are more in balance again. And to do that, I don't think you need a massive overhaul. You don't need to, to reconnect physically, you don't need a massive workout. You might just need very, very small ways to bring your awareness back to your senses. And you could do that now, by just feeling your feet pressing into the floor, feeling the texture of your clothing, drinking a glass of water, feeling it moving down your throat. So bringing your awareness back to your senses, even if that's just for a couple of minutes a day, it's a small route back into reconnection. Emotionally, you might say to yourself, it's okay that I feel indifferent or hollow or flat at the moment. That's okay. I feel disconnected. I think sometimes saying it out loud and giving yourself permission to feel the numbness kind of softens it and enables it to shift a little bit. It softens that wall, because otherwise, if we try and avoid it and we keep pushing it down, we can't deal with it. We can't let it out and let it shift and move. So give yourself permission to feel the way you feel. Mentally, I think this is really about giving yourself permission to quieten your mind, or it's okay for your mind to drift, because it can, this situation can come around because of mental overload, where you've got so much going on, or stress in your life and so on, that actually clearing space in your mind and letting it drift might be just what you need. So giving yourself permission, again, for your mind to do nothing. Close your eyes, switch your phone off, let your mental fog settle. Just like mud clearing in water, let it settle, so that gradually you can start to find some clarity. It's okay to just take time away. And then spiritually, it's around retethering, reconnecting yourself. And, that might be that you step outside for 60 minutes, you look at the sky, you look at the tree, you feel the daylight on your face. You put a hand on your heart, you take some deliberate, slow breaths, but you remind yourself, that you're part of nature, you're part of the bigger picture. Nature never rushes its seasons, so this is a natural season that you're in because of the situation that you've been in. So this is just around gradually reconnecting in small ways. It's natural. So bringing these 4 areas back into balance takes time. You don't have to sort of snap out of it or force yourself out of it. Just take small, simple steps. And if you're in this sort of quiet, disconnected space, just let yourself be here. Treat yourself with kindness. The fog always lifts when you're rested and replenished. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Take it easy, and I will see you next time. If you're looking at this theme more closely this month, you know, if it resonates with you, there are resources underneath that can help you to make sense of how you're feeling as you move through the month. But also, if this resonates, do please like, and that helps me too. Okay, take care. See you next week. Bye.